Okay, this is the Velocifire TKL02WS wireless mechanical keyboard. It's a TKL 10 keyless keyboard. It looks like this. It looks very sturdy. The Velocifire logo is on the front instead of on the top, which I appreciate. Let's see, it's a 10 keyless, so there's no number pad on the right. There are two lights over here. There is a charging port right there, and if I flip it over like so, there are little feet there, very nice. There are rubber pads everywhere. They are very effective, and there is the on-off switch right here. So it's a pretty hefty keyboard. It's pretty heavy. I have a full-size membrane keyboard right over there. You can't see it. And in that membrane keyboard, full-size keyboard, there's also a built-in wrist rest, and the weight is about the same between the full-size with a wrist rest keyboard and this little keyboard here. So all the keys on here are mechanical, so that adds some weight. Plus, it's wireless, so of course there's the battery that adds quite a bit of weight. In the package, so there was the keyboard, there is a wireless receiver like this. There is a charging cable, very effective, it works well. It's also not just a charging cable, you can type. When the battery is out, you can type, and it will not use the wireless, it will use the cable. It also comes with the key puller. The key puller, I've used it, I'll talk about that in a moment. It works well, but because of its design, it mars the surface of the keys. If it was a wire key puller, it goes under the keys without really damaging anything, but this one rubs against the sides of the keys, and it mars the sides a little bit. And it also comes with a little user manual or user fold out. There's not much on there. Let's see, so this is, the keyboard is backlit, and to save the battery, it goes out, it's supposed to, the backlight is supposed to go out after 1 minute. In reality, it goes out after 1 minute 25, I timed it, and it's supposed to go to sleep after 3 minutes, but I left it alone, and it took a long time for the caps lock. Those two lights are the caps lock and the Windows lock, and so it took 14 minutes and 30 seconds, so 14 and a half minutes before that light goes out. So I'm assuming that it goes out when the whole keyboard goes to sleep. It's supposed to go out after 3 minutes, and that extends the life of the battery, but it went out after 14 minutes and 30 seconds. That's a very big difference, and so that means the battery probably doesn't last quite as long. I have not had a full cycle of battery yet. I just got this keyboard. Let's see, so as soon as I hit the any key, the backlight's gonna come back on like this. The backlight is very effective, it works really well. Let's see if I turn off some of the lights in the room here. There we go. So now we're lit mostly by the two monitors that are over there, and so the keys are nice and bright. So I will turn the lights back on, and it is a mechanical keyboard, so there is noise associated with this. So let me just demonstrate. Okay, so this is unrealistic typing. This is what we normally see when we see people doing a test of typing. Now I'm gonna type something for real, like this. Okay, and so this is what it would sound like when I'm using it for software development. So it's still typing, but the rhythm might be different. Okay, and so it sounds like that. And let's see, go up, go down. Okay, and let's see, if I'm editing text, I'm going to be using okay, so it sounds like this. Now I have purchased at the same time a set of these little rings, these dampeners. So the brand is 3 Bulls, but that doesn't really matter. They're little rings like this. They're made of rubber. It's supposed to reduce the sound when the key bottoms out. And so I added some of these to a few of the keys, not the keys I was typing with. The Alt key and the function key did not have a very similar sound, almost the same sound. So the Alt key sounds like this. The function key, I added a ring to it. So you can hear it's very, very different. Okay, so that sounded promising, but I also added, I started to add these little rings to the number keys, and the result was not quite as good. So number 1, 2, and 3 have little rings, and 4 on don't have it. So okay, so now 4 and up don't have it, then and 2 and 3 almost no difference. Number 1, okay, number 1, what I ended up doing is I put 2 rings on top of each other, and so it works. It makes the key much more quiet, but it also reduces the coarse of the key there. It doesn't go as deep. If it was for the letters, that would probably not work for me, but for the numbers, it's probably okay. I don't think it would matter all that much. So what I'm going to do next is add the rings, the little ring dampeners to all the numbers, all the keys, everywhere basically, and come back for a sound test. Okay, I'm almost done. I just wanted to show something here. So these are Cherry MX Brown keys. Let's see if I can turn off the light. It'll be easier to see. There we go. So these are Cherry MX Brown keys. And the key itself is not noisy, but it's when you add the keycap that it becomes noisy. So I've been adding these rubber dampeners on all the keys. I'm almost done, and it makes a big difference. So I'll be back in a second with the full keyboard. Okay, I have completed the keyboard. A few things I want to point out. All of the number keys I have put, and the backspace, I have put 2 rubber dampeners on them, and that works really well. Some of the keys, the shift keys, the enter key, the backspace, the space bar, so the bigger keys, they have 2 or 3 little rings, because there is the MX switch and there's 1 or 2 stabilizers next to it. So I have put some little rubber dampeners on all of the rings, and so I have put on all of the keys, I have put double there, and I have some left over. So that was a very good purchase. So 3 bowls. So here's what it looks like. So if you're going to spend $45, $46, $47 on the keyboard, well, make it even $50, and spend a few more dollars on a bag of rubber dampeners. Another thing I wanted to point out before I do the final sound test is that the key extraction tool was marring the first few keys that I did, but after that it was fine. So I guess the tool itself, the surface of the tool, must have worn out. Maybe the manufacturing made it a bit sharp. So I can probably suggest before you do the operation yourself that you rub it maybe against something made of plastic, or maybe even paper would do the trick, so that it doesn't mar your keys. And I'm not talking about anything dramatic. I can remove the function key, which is the very first one that I did, and yeah, I don't think that's gonna it's gonna show up on the camera. There's a little bit of marring right there, and yeah, that's true, it is inside and you don't see it, but you know, it could have been somewhere else. Like, okay, so on the side of the one key, you can see it there. Let's see if I can focus that better. Right there. So you can see it right here. So it was marred. It's not a scratch. It's kind of just rubbing a little bit too hard on the surface. But it did not do that. And you can see that there's 2 little rubber dampeners on there, in there. So it didn't mar the other. Oh, change the focus again. There we go. And all right, it did not mar the other keys. So I guess the tool got dull a little bit. Okay, so it's getting long. So final sound test. Ooh, much better. Okay, so here's me typing randomly. Okay, now typing more realistically. Okay. And so here's me editing. Oh, right here. Okay, and I'm going to write something like I'm doing software development here. So okay, so that was more realistic. This is what it's going to sound like. So I like this keyboard quite a bit. I bought it to carry with me. I'm a consultant. I go from client to client, and I have a laptop. I don't like laptop keyboards, so I needed a external keyboard, and I wanted this to be a full, not a full size, but a full key keyboard. So I've had a hard time. Actually, I was unable to find a membrane 10 keyless keyboard. It would sound like this. So this is my membrane keyboard that's over there off screen, off camera. But so I could not find any TKL keyboard that was a membrane keyboard that would have been perfect. So that's the next best thing. I like it quite a bit. I'm going to turn off the light to save the battery. So that's a very nice keyboard. I'm going to be using it for a little bit and then add to this review to talk about my experience after I've used it for a little bit. So hopefully that was useful. Take care.